We just witnessed compLexity Renegades not quite go the distance. Renegades getting the better of compLexity, as was just a little bit expected. My name is Stun. I'm here on the Xfinity Analyst Desk alongside my awesome friends here. And hey, if we all do this, it's cool.
It's
right?
cool, you know?
I'm kidding. Let's all stop right. Guys, we got another map ahead of us with compLexity Renegades. We have Train.
All right, Train. compLexity, get loose on your T side, all right? Play conservative on your CT, get loose on their T side. I saw when on Mirage, they got some rounds on the T side, but getting loose, you know, working the angles, as you say.
Working the angles. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And actually, moving a little bit forward past that, let's get into some hardcore predictions right now. Blue, I'm going to put you right on the spot. You're trying to get out of it over there. I can tell that you're trying to skate by on it, but we're going to hit you with the heavy hitter. Who's winning this, and what's the scoreline going to be?
Renegades 16-10, I'll say.
That's impressive. I'm going to do 16-8 Renegades.
Well, if we take a look at the Betway odds, I'm gonna assume right off the bat, but you know what they say about assumptions, right? We're gonna have to go with Renegades being the favorite here, right? That's just the way this one plays out.
I mean, it's pretty clear cut and dry at this point. Seeing that Renegades, you know, don't really have to. It seems like anyway they're not really suffering from any like jet lag issues and whatnot. There's no like any weird mistakes being made. A little bit of a bump there, closing out the map when they got into the second map, but still in control for the majority of it there. I feel like they're still going to dominate here on the second map with no problem at all.
Well, definitely going to Train. That's the one with the inside sight and the outside sight. I think that's right. Anyway,
something like that.
Our commentators are standing by. We're going to be jumping into this one rather quickly. Who do you guys have?
You know what? I'm going to stay true to my word.
I'm going to say compLexity.
Oh my goodness. That'd be a good anime storyline.
Yeah.
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 Betrayals.
Top 10 anime unexpected outcomes.
All right. The reason I still have compLexity maybe painted to win this one as JKS finds the opening pistol kill is that both Slemmy and Android have a next level of individual play on this map. It's one that they feel that they can really, you know, kind of succeed in. They always seem to put up numbers, the two of them. We did watch Def have a really good game on Mirage, individually speaking. And again, we have Opper of Peter, plus now that secondary op ability of Yaster. So I think the pieces are there. I could very well be wrong because Renegades was convincing in that opening half on Mirage. But it's Def who convinces his team to hit up the A site, finding an opening frag as Justillo gets dwindled down to only 11 health. He continues to try and fight. It's Peter with a frag over on Ivy. But Nifty, towards the site itself, is able to at least respond with something. 3v2. As the bomb goes in, JKS swinging out over on Ivy does have Justillo by his side. Again, very lit, but that's the headshot to connect. Traded back by one, and down he goes. compLexity to take the pistol.
4K from Peter, getting all of those kills so easily, and a very interesting setup from compLexity to juggle those rotates from inner. They were able to get JKS, even though he hit that initial headshot, to rotate back inside, fall between the spools and the wall, and then have them come back and kill, I think it was Azur at ladder. So that was a very nice round from them to just keep it simple, but go off of their kills and try to control the rotations. Renegades on the receiving end of that are now in a pistol round where they have decided not to armor up. Instead are just going to be kind of hoping to do some damage. One flash in the hands of Azur. Everybody else from compLexity has moved quickly towards inner, however. One flash comes out a little late. No players here, though, to help them capitalize, and Nifty gets shot right out of the sky on his way down from that Z rotate.
Obviously, Renegades not having any armor at this point. Could still gamble their lives. Yay over on in spawn does find one, but Justillo is able to trade it back. That's a Galil to the dirt, and now in the hands of Justillo. Do they gamble it further? Do they try to force this fight? Looks like Justillo wants out.
I really like fast inner on anti-ecos because this isn't a site that people stack a lot of the times, and because there's so many things to do on outside that you would expect maybe we'll have an opportunity to at least catch one person for sure. And that's a good way to negate that. And the other thing is that the rotate is so quick from inside and outside to inside, whereas like for any 3-lane map like Mirage or Inferno, the rotate is forever from A to B. It's not like that on Train. So a lot of teams will just go out to A first, focus on like ladder, T-Con, Ivy, wait for a default or someone to peek, try to get a 1D, something like that. And Fast Inner just circumvents all of those problems just by hitting a site right out of the gate. Super simple to do, easy to get the plant for sure. And yeah, very difficult for CTs to find good places to camp out in the site itself. Now we have another full-on pistol round save. Renegades are getting one flash once again, except this time they have decided to go inner, and the flash will go over the wall. No one's going to be here except for Def, who's going to hear all these footsteps and see he gets 1, 2, 3, a third kill, and the fourth one as well. Very nice angle from him. And kind of pick from any skin there as all 4 players with USPs. Where do you stand on USPs versus P2Ks?
I'm a P2K man. My accuracy is pretty garbage, so I like that extra bullet.
That's a great read. They all do 100 damage, but this one you get 13. 13 tries to do 100 damage. I basically go off of which sound I like more that month. And I switch.
Yeah, I mean, it is appealing, I have to admit. Here we go into the gun round. Renegades with an op on Nifty, but it's Azza with an opening kill, then traded back already. So compLexity primed and poised to hit this A site, but Justillo's up close. He hears these footsteps, and Nifty, well, he gets even closer. As he drops Def and the bomb, Justillo finds another, and it's going to leave compLexity down to the 2v3 with an op trained in. Almost on retreat. He goes for the no-scope. This could cost him, and it does. Peter able to find that headshot and swings it back into the 2v2 with the bomb about to go down. Now, Renegades, they're looking to split in on the retake. They've got the Molotovs. They've got a frag and a flash kit on top of that. But the problem here is that already compLexity have pushed forward. They're after plants on the other side of sight. Justillo's going to expect a fight here, but finds nothing for it. So now the jig is up. They know T's have to be deeper in. JKS could go high, or he could just go swinging round.
Ooh, interesting molly.
Even better frag. Blows Slemmy out, but Peter with the op catches Justillo. This could be it, because time is ticking quickly. Peter's been taken out of the round. His op's been retrieved, but that's still the round for compLexity.
JKS gets away with his life, but yeah, still around for compLexity. Interesting that they made that quick adjustment. That's another round where Renegades got the opening kill right away, and still compLexity were able to solve the problem. Oh, look at that nice ladder play to actually dodge that first bullet, take that off for himself later in the round and actually can make another kill of it. So JKS with that save is just going to throw it over to Nifty. The rest of them are going to half fire, move into round 5. Renegades are trying to figure out what to do here on CT side, as compLexity's adaptation skills have been pretty good. There was something interesting about last round that I wanted to point out that I'll probably have to jog my memory a little bit. Maybe we'll see something happen again that'll remind me, but either way, now we have a default where there's some pressure to make sure that nobody is going to push inner. Oh, it was the fast ladder play, that's what it was. Android dropped down immediately as it gets the trade. And I want to say that, like, sometimes you have a player jump out to T-Con just to catch someone coming up to ladder. And I think after Justillo is going to try to fight as much as possible. Oh, is running back through the molly. This is another thing, actually. We saw that molly that bounces out a window that lands in the doorway, right? And then we have the molly you can throw straight down. Those two mollies make it so you can't stand anywhere near ladder. And we see that come into full effect as he has to try to run out.
Now compLexity, full effect into the A site, already finding 2 more lives, but Nifty up close takes Slemmy down. So there's an opening here. 2 more players on compLexity are heavily hit. And oh, Peter, he gives up on the angle. He has 100 health, but he finds Sanctuary around that corner. So the op of Nifty is going to trail off onto the B site as Naf, well, he's still got something to say. Again, that's the man on full HP now down, Def dead. And here goes Peter. So 8 HP is all that remains for the last 2 players up. And Nafly still has a full bar to work with. He spots the first, and the second is high above. Naf just needs to fight versus time. It's then that Android drops him, and Nifty, now he knows he's going to have to save. So compLexity, despite having heavy losses, are still going to take their 5th round.
That's so nuts, because the round's almost over completely if Android just goes down there. So really good on him to play out that sound. Know that he's getting pushed. Probably have seen I think he would have seen a shadow too on the right side. Yeah, you can see the shadows on the right. So there's that second molly that lands in the doorway, and then the first one to push a player out once that one is popped. If you throw it in the reverse order, then this guy could just probably run out as both mollies are popped behind him, like Tom Cruise running from an explosion. But instead, they're completely trapped, and he thinks, oh, that first molly means that I'm safe in this position, I just have to fight. You're wrong, sir.
See if Nifty can get that op into position. Now double op for Renegades. It's JKS with the other. Still playing over towards that B site is he. It's Nifty who, despite having the same gun, has changed up positions. Haven't seen much of Ivy play here from compLexity, barring maybe one late lurk. They've got 2 players proactively trying to take it here and now.
Oh, good nade. Well, decent damage at least. Had the right idea. JKS takes a spot of damage with the Yop, not sure from where. Counter smoke comes out. This is standard Ivy control where you have two people. One of them uses their utility. The other one might come up, might fall back, but also just has a set of nades to help them re-smoke because they want to try to use the first ones to bait out counter usage. And from here, it looks like after getting kind of aggressive, 2 kills come out. Upper and Z both attack each other. Not sure who got that trade. Yaster from ladder is able to kill Azar again once again in ladder, and all these kills happening.
Nice push from Nifty though. Gets into T-Con and re-peeks for Slemmy's chest. Now Android able to catch Naf, but it's down to the 1v2, and Nifty's having none of it. Finally, Renegades onto the board. 6 rounds deep. They've got their first. They saved 2 guns in the process. But obviously, compLexity's still poised, and I'm sure they would love to enact revenge with a reset of their own. This was a nice third shot.
Yeah, right through the wall. Nifty, excuse me. Nifty and Naf actually so good at that. They're just super quick and extremely good at that. Yeah, but I think what was interesting about that round, and I think the only prevalent pattern that's somewhat emerging at this point is that compLexity, if they go fast, they lose their opening kill. They're able to make a smart adjustment there. They fell apart in their default, moving quite slowly. A lot in part due to the fact that Nifty got T-Con control, and here it is the fast B play. JKS getting the first kill. No kill to come and trade him, and Peter, just because he was kind of vision blocked from that wall, gets killed.
Drops the bomb. Yaster able to respond with 1 frag, but they're already outnumbered 2-1. And Naf catches Ye on his exit in, so Ustillo's about to take Slemmy. There we have it. A fast play from compLexity, tries to pinch the bomb site. But that's all on the sole defender here from Renegades, able to not only remove 1 guy from on high, but then move over and drop the bomb in the process.
JKS didn't have enough pressure put on him from his position. Would have easily gotten traded out by somebody coming down the ramp any sooner. Peter, with that off, wasn't the only player that was there. The other one ended up crossing late. JKS just had such an easy time going for 1-for-1 duels in a situation where he's playing a very standard B position, and they wanted to hit B in a very standard way, meaning he should be like their prime target. So I think compLexity maybe didn't dry run that enough. Maybe have had more success with their first players coming out of upper, but in that situation, there's an obvious flaw in what they have going on. Anyways, Ustillo keeps his Molotov off to make sure, for a specific situation just like this one, to throw his utility.
5 players in. Android's able to find 1 kill. That's up close, but JKS takes 2 in the meantime. So the bomb tries to go down. Nice utility play to stop it, but Android in the meantime's gotten aggressive and successful. Finds JKS, but that's all he'll take. It's compLexity now giving up 3 in a row. Nice anti-eco with that utility.
Yeah, and then we'll see if that affects his buy at all, because that was extremely well played from JKS. If he didn't hit that nade perfectly as well, if he threw it a little bit too hard and it bounced off the wall and the bomb planner didn't die, well, then compLexity have an extra $800 across the board. So a little bit more money to spend on a few players, but not entirely full grenades for everybody. So it will have an effect. We'll see how much that actually means. But the real issue is that this half isn't over, and so all the economy that you can save will add up. Now the op coming out from JKS, a flash, well-timed to push him back, but no Molotov back here that we see quite often. Slemmy actually peeking, but not from an angle wide enough that JKS can capitalize. And now just going to happily stroll across upper. And will he go and dry peek the op? There's actually no one there, but a couple of risks being taken for sure.
Yeah, I feel like Renegades are starting to come into their own. Now that they've stabilized their economy, they're allowed to take these risks. They're allowed to push players up close and try and force those fights. But again, nice utility play off of Slemmy denies that attempt. Although, Ustillo's still creeping towards the top side of the B site. And Naf has felt pressure over on Ivy. So now he's going to look for the information. Does see Android rounding the corner, dinks him, but does die. That's Android with an opener, 5v4 over towards that A site. While Renegades are still amongst the trains, upon the bomb site, waiting for a further push.
T-Con control, very popular for CTs when other extremities of the map have been taken. We see Renegades capitalize on it, and that result in round wins for them more than once this half. Op shot comes out, JKS watching the back trains. No other threats here. Will he have a player crossing? The rifle spot, is he gonna switch sides at this point? Peter's gotta get tricky yet just as he leaves. Oh, and I think he heard that scope. 1v4 though, this is a big problem, right?
Yeah, regardless of how this last frag turns out, that's a great mid-round kind of change-up from Renegades. They felt that pressure coming in off of Ivy. They saw that T-Con was open for the taking. We see Azza take those 2 rifle kills over on T-Con, dropping the bomb, while their secondary opera of JKS sets up and picks up those other kills on Ivy. So compLexity, they tried to get into that A site, they pumped the brakes, and the moment they're back on the accelerator, they just get shut down. Excellent round from Renegades, now 4-5. So, not quite 5 rounds in a row, but only 1 shy of that.
The really tricky conundrum with Train is that T-Con control is so important, but also pretty easy to take. And for the terrorists, since it's so easy to take, end up having to spend more time focusing on their splitting points like ladder, which is very difficult to get down sometimes, and then Ivy, which is extremely difficult the entire way. Tenuous from the CT's position, so usually spend a lot of attention on it with an op, with a lot of counter nades. And so sometimes when you actually leave T-Con control, you forget about it as a terrorist because you know you can come back to it later. The CTs get in there, and then they have a great position to kill people who are crossing from ladder into the site after they don't expect CT to be in T-Con, like we saw Nifty kill. And then Ivy, where they have a line of sight all the way down into Ivy. And as you're coming out Ivy, you're not thinking about CTs and T-Con. You're thinking about CTs on the site, on the trains, sandwich, hell, and all these different positions. So Renegades capitalizing on that, as many teams do and should.
And of course, we have Slemmy with a smoke flash over on the A site, but the rest of compLexity have grouped up towards B. Can't help but feel like he'll chuck those nades over, try and sell a rotation or some kind of a fake, and then hope that compLexity can at least take this plant. But we've seen Ustillo hold his own, and JKS the same. Both of those players currently primed on B. Op watching upper, Ustillo's rifle on ramp. And because he throws another smoke, they just lie in wait. Great flash. That forces Ustillo off, but we've seen the fire and frags do so much damage already. Yacer is able to push down lane, but Yazer stops him then and there. Ustillo burns Android alive, and that leaves poor old Slemmy. So we do see the mirrored score. 5 rounds for compLexity, answered back by 5 from Renegades.
That was so great the way that they were able to connect the Molotovs, or the incendiaries, since they were on the CT side, but to have them flame exactly after the last one had finished was just ideal. It isn't like beyond that bomb plant zone, there's back pop, and besides that, if you're coming on the ramp, there's nowhere you can stand as a terrorist. So to assist the bomb going down is very difficult. Sometimes you would think it might actually make sense to have a smoke for that, because it's gonna be quite common if the other team has full utility that they're gonna be able to chain maul these. And here we have T-Con control being taken once again. So we see that Molly is making it very difficult for compLexity to have anyone to come and try to trade or just stand there with him. And Yaster going down is a big win for Renegades.
Yet again with an opening pick. So often the case here for Renegades. But Android's got a response already. That's Azza removed. Again, inside of T-Con. So that being the point of contest at the time being. There's still a lot of grenades here for compLexity to execute off of. And before they do that, they're going to want to boost this Opper up, hoping that Peter can find a man to the backside. Of course, the op at a distance has been a problem before, so it does make sense to look for this, and he is so dangerously close. What a tease as he crosses the screen of Pete. But it is still that 4v3, Renegades with the front foot.
I think here is where he's played 2-2. Yeah, we have the rotate in from Nifty. He can watch upper. They can try to deny a plant. They have enough of an advantage right now, 4-on-3, to not have to worry as much about outside. Again, with the fast rotate, JKS watching upper. It's actually 2 ops down here. That flash is going to be quite effective. Nifty going to try to spot the cross. Somebody on the other side of him, however, a number 8 man is right behind and actually gets that kill, but just a moment too late. Def now alone. Well, will be spotted by JKS. Might have been called by his teammate. You still have, however, right behind him, and that's the power of numbers to guarantee the frag and the trade. Now, Renegades tons of money. Oh my gosh, over 10K once again, even though this half of it has been so close. compLexity, with a strong start, have suddenly puttered to a halt. And our man, I think it's Azza, or Ustillo, excuse me, has pushed into T-Con, and that was the second kill, I think, of the round, where he initially had bullied somebody, and then later on had held on to it, which compLexity hadn't expected. Another half buy here with armor from compLexity. 5 smoke grenades. Figured if I counted 3, I'd counted enough, but almost certainly going to be a 5 smoke execute. 3 on the bomb train, 1 Ivy, a 5th one. Where would they put it? Close to sandwich.
It's going to be a blanket of smokes.
A blanket, yes.
That is for sure.
A sky of smokes.
Yes. Here they come sailing in. So, will it be enough coverage for compLexity to actually get to the bomb site? Aza wants to stop them in their tracks. If he boosts on top of the train, that'd be the play to make. And that's exactly what he'll do. So, the T-side's coming in, thinking they have all the cover in the world, and surprise, surprise, Aza is ready for them to arrive as he takes 2, near 3. Slemmy cowers to the side, and he's gonna hunt. Android underneath, able to find 1 frag, but that's all he gets. compLexity still stagnate on 5.
Aza making a case for 6 smokes to see over that entire great wall of haze. There it is. Very easy. Great place to stop a plant from. Got still that range to deal with all these pistols with. And yeah, very smart boost to try to do that. It calls out the play. And it doesn't cost compLexity a lot to try it. And you really do appreciate that they spend that money to try to get the plant down, because it would certainly have been worth it. But the boost being offered up, Nifty not going to take it, however. Instead is just going to be on his own by Trade Stopper. Our man has snuck out to Olaf Slemmy, but is now going to join his team. Android is able to get a kill upper, but the lurk is still on. Very hectic round here as A-side is being taken through a walkout.
Yeah, my interest is, where's Aza at? What's he up to? I think he's at the top side. Yeah, top side of the ladder. So that catches Android on the retreat back. They knew there was a man over there, but where he was, they have now found out. Ustillo and Nap with a quick 2 kills, and Peter with a response, but he too is dead. That's going to be compLexity giving up another. As you said, hectic round, but Renegades, on these hectic moments, still seem to succeed.
So I'd say that Renegades were just very careful. We kind of, I think the embodiment of that was where Ustillo came into Z and was fully aware that outside was taken. So they were aware that it was going to be an A hit once they had fallen back. So even though they were initially juked, or excuse me, juked, yeah, that's the
juked,
word.
Duped?
Juked, yeah, thank you. They still were aware. Okay, we got juked, so let's be careful on the rotate in. And compLexity had 2 people playing pretty safely, waiting for those rotates, and just lost their trades because of that safety. So just good awareness from Renegades, and it did come down to those 1v1s. I think if either of them were 1, compLexity probably would have got the bomb down, would have been even numbers, way different of a round. Instead, it looks like Renegades never were in danger of losing it.
Again, we see Renegades just trying to apply this early pressure. Can't help but feel like with 8 consecutive rounds, they've created some comfort for themselves. But Android gets comfortable on Ivy, catching the headshot onto Nifty, as Ustillo will respond. Now, it's in these hectic moments that Renegades seems to come out on top. We'll see if they can do it yet again. Slemmy offered in the open to Aza's AK, and that's once more the Aussies to the man advantage.
Here we have a ladder control, smoke going out outside for the E-box cross, but it's actually 2 players inside, and we do see compLexity quite often use 1 person to try to just bait as much of a rotate they can, especially in a situation where rotates are very friendly on the map. JKS can be watching the cross. Android going top train, good idea. Is able to get a plant for his team now as well. 2v3 though, still a problem. They've got to find a frag before any CTs get any closer.
Single flashbang for Renegades to retake with. Android has 1 frag. While Peter's got the coverage of the smoke, he gives up the angle. So, Ustillo gets closer, able to catch that kill, leaving it all on Android. And as he finds the first, there's still 2 to find. Does get the 1v1, but he's done for. Renegades find 9.
He actually has a tough position there because the bomb is still planted default. They both had decided to try to push up because they need the kills on the players rotating through Z. It's better and it's easier to do that halfway up the site as opposed from far back. And because they were in that man disadvantage situation, that allows Renegades to have more options to take it slowly and put compLexity in those pressure situations where they do need to go and find those trades, which is like, we know exactly what you're doing, you know what we're doing kind of moment, and the man advantage ends up being the victor almost every single time. But now we are moving on to the last round of the half. It's a compLexity to not recover from that great start that turned so sour so quickly. As they're playing in the ladder, pretty safe position to be in. Ooh, JKS almost overstaying his welcome. I think the missed off shot saved his life as they're holding it down here. The flash is no good. Try to make as much noise as they could to cover the sound of the grenade leaving his hand, but it wasn't enough. And this time it'll be a decoy as it. Noticing that somebody's actually gone back up. Oh.
He knows this. So he might actually give chase himself. He could, seeing as no one watched the backside. Now Android will just re-peek it. compLexity have been painted into a situation where they need to hit the B site. They still have the smokes to cover their entry, but they have lost the man watching flank. So it's all in. 3v5. Ustillo still concerned with the top side. Will throw down the Molotov as the Oppers hold his rear. JKS through him, catches that kill. And so it's Slemmy and Pete, but only one remains. And there we have it, 10-5. I remember, Launders, when the score was 0-5. That was clearly 10 rounds ago. What a comeback from Renegades as they have taken control. Will they finish things off swiftly? Stay tuned to find out.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Intel, the City of Odense, GeForce GTX, Lenovo Legion, Bedway, Pay Safeguard, Logitech G, Mountain Dew League, Xfinity, and ESEA.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ESL Pro League, where Renegades versus compLexity is underway. We watched them pick up the first map on Mirage, and we just watched them swing 10 rounds back in their favor after losing an opening 5. I'd say it's safe to say they've stabilized.
They have 100% stabilized, and the saddest part is that the fastest way to 5 rounds is to get the first 5. You get the pistol, you get the anti-ecos, get a rifle, and in those rounds, I think there was actually 2 rifles, which is a little bit of an oddity, but even in those situations, the surprising thing was they got those rounds even though they lost the opening kill twice, I think.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, you're right.
So that's kind of something, but that's also a warning sign, just because if that trend keeps up, there's no way that they're going to continue to win rifle rounds, and I think we saw that be a problem for them after all. So ultimately, the positives were that they did some cool stuff, like adjustments on the fly when they did go down in numbers. They threw some cool fakes. They clearly had a plan for eco rounds. Yeah. But even then, Renegades went an extra level deep with like boosts over the site. The chain incendiaries on a B site had answers for them every step of the way. It
just felt like, to me, that Renegades were simply prepared, much more prepared than I would have anticipated, seeing as, you know, they are going through this roster change and whatever not. Like, Nafly fits in very easily. So with even compLexity trying to change up what they could, again, going back to Mirage, per se, stacking the B-bomb site after being conditioned to do so, Renegades had the response. So no matter what compLexity seemed to you know, pull out of the hat, Renegades were just one step ahead. And it's for that reason that here we are, 10-5. We've had some pretty nice individual plays. I'd say there was some impressive holds over on that B site. Multiple times where either JKS or Ustillo were afforded more space than maybe they should have been allowed to. We saw them survive that initial push, take down 1 or 2 players, and then that rotation from Renegades always prevailed.
For this next half, I have to wonder, obviously, it's going to be quite telling if compLexity are able to get off to an early start because they have to make up so much ground now, then maybe they have a chance to win. But I think the reason that I always assumed that NAF would fit in quite easily to this lineup is because they're not replacing an Opper, they're not replacing an IGL. They're replacing a superstar fragger who uses a rifle. Yep. He had a very individualistic role his entire career, so it's something that they're probably happy to have him come into in the last minute when they have matches to pick up right away.
Nifty said at Malmo in an interview with HLTV that these 3 Aussies have just been waiting for that 1/5 player to really gel their unit. Nafly could be it. Time shall tell, as Yaster does open up with a pistol kill to Ustillo, but it's not going to stop Renegades from getting into A and finding frags in response. There's so much damage dealt. Asa, 1 point of health, is now down. compLexity back to the 2v2 as the bomb's gone in. But Peter's chasing the ghosts that do run towards the Z connector. Android catches the headshot, but Peter needs the trade. And Naf gets back around the corner with a front mag in. Up close, Naf.
Wrong spray.
Does it. What a clutch. Style points and all. Renegades with the open.
Oh man, hits him with the green wall at the end. That's great. Oh my gosh. Dodges those bullets. Even after that, taking that straight on engagement should have just gotten killed for sure. But the 4K, the 1v2. Naf is that player. Naf is the type of player who can take a game into his own hands. He's always had that quality about him, and he's been a little bit consistent in the results, but you can kind of see. And I think all players should be looked at by their peaks and not their troughs, because when we see players come back into form all the time, but it's really way more alarming when a player is like pretty good but isn't playing well sometimes. Whereas someone's amazing and then sometimes doesn't do well. Well, you know they still have it in them somewhere. Unlocking that consistency is what can be quite common to find, and I think Def just hit him through the smoke with that scout shot. And not even sure where he took that initial damage from, but just 100 damage right away. 4v4 now. Naf still sitting back at IV. Yaster has taken T-Con control just like Renegades did to them in the first half as CTs. We'll see what that does for them.
Naf could rotate back into this, but he's got to be aware that this could be the threat. Meanwhile, the rest of Renegades poised towards the B site are starting to push on in. Android on the flying Ustillo will miss his shots. So 4v3 for Renegades. As the scouts are still standing, JKS takes one. Peter goes to the top side as Ye finds the headshot, but Ustillo with a trade. Ye to do the same. Into the 1v2. But he too toppled. That's Renegades with 12.
Yeah, big lead, almost insurmountable at this point. compLexity having to full-on save, were when in desperation trying to pull out one of their last tricks in that eco and couldn't do it. So, and the best part for Renegades, after all, is that they can kind of invest in whatever they want. Naf has he even bought anything? Does he have an SMG? Nothing. He's just going to hang on to this P250 because he knows that they have basically nothing to spend on. And just Peter trying to do some chip damage. Gets that first shot off, but unfortunately for him, it's through the wall. Renegade's already leading into the B site. Slemmy up here with the USP. Good position, not a good gun though.
Tries to work it out, but it doesn't happen. That's quick kills for Renegades, 3 of which Yaster on the rotation inwards will find 1, and Peter still's got his scout, but Nifty's got him covered. Headshot connects. Renegades to 13. I believed in Slemmy there.
Yeah. Again, really good spot, especially when teams run by you, but it's just, and I think when he got spotted, the jumping was a little bit too much, some damage dealt. You know what also feels weird about the USP is you never feel like you're actually doing damage. You know, when you have to spray it,
yeah,
it feels like
you don't hit anything.
You shoot through pillow, you know?
Body shots and a USP. Not a good time.
Name a more iconic duo.
Laundry.
Yes. Damn it.
Scout for Peter. He's kept that one moving forward, or rather reinvested into it, because he died at the last round. So a choice has been made. Def's going to get aggressive to the top side of the B site. Now, they didn't check Slemmy when he was here last round, but that was obviously a much faster pace. Renegades now set up. Oh, he almost finds it, but there's a man catching the peak, so Def will retreat back into B, where grenades sail in, and everybody else for compLexity is nowhere to be found. Despite seeing all this presence, it's still just Def, and that's going to be able to get him 1, and still there's nobody for compLexity.
He had no rotates, nobody to help him in Z whatsoever. All that work to do by himself. Oh, that's pretty unreal. Fortunately for compLexity, it's still a 4v4, but that might cost him. Peter trying to hit this through the smoke, notices that someone's going to try to push through. The scout's not good enough to stop a push by himself, and the other one's behind the Molotov, still in Z after all this time.
He He's able to catch 1 kill. That's Android, but it's the 3v2 to the favor of Renegades. Bomb ticking quickly already, and now it's Android only. He's got himself another response as Naf has gone down, but Spinal Tap from Nifty will seal the deal. Why is that rotate so slow?
Obvious flaw in their setup. It's such an egregious flaw because Def communicated that he heard a bunch of people, that they were probably going to execute. He threw the Molotov down, he rotated back, he did as much as he could do to stop it, took a fight, had so much time to take that fight. 3 players jumped down the ramp, no one was still in Z at that moment, and even then, with 1 ladder, 1 T-Con, 1 Ivy, we're on the farthest rotate possible to help a man who's playing solo inner pushed up.
And asking for help.
He needs help. He needs help, he made it clear. If not by his words and by his actions, by whatever he communicated, I know he speaks. There's no way that he wasn't asking for help, and to not have someone in Z, which is a position that's not even like someone to help you and be at all times. Z is a great position to walk outside from.
Yeah.
Have someone be there.
Yeah.
You know, just chill in Z. Someone.
The emotion is raw here tonight. As compLexity look to fight into another round. It's been 14 consecutive from Renegades. They'd love another. Def now pushed up on A as Ye opens up himself, but that's 3 frags for Renegades already. Everybody's dead except for Peter and Slemmy. Slemmy with a scout, Peter with a lurk. Ooh, that's some damage done. Peter falls down and finds JKS, who was already lit. Now can he find another 3? Nope. Let's push back.
Big rotate, no kit to work with. It's understood you still is going to hear that. And the reason why people look through walls when they're listening is not just to show people that they know where they are. It's so that when you can kind of zero in on someone behind a wall and your sound tells you when they're in the middle of where you're looking. So that's just, it helps you actually locate exactly where they are when you can find them with a crosshair through the wall. Which people find out intuitively, but no one really consciously really thinks about that. I think it's just it's something you do when you play. The more you play CS. Now we move into what could be the last round of the game, and on paper should be, because there are 2 scopes, but they are both scouts. compLexity on CT side are very low, without many rounds in total. Any rounds to look back on, and they can say, this is how we won that round, let's do that again. Yaster up here at ladder by himself. Nifty flying by him, but not baiting out any shots in the face of what looks like an A-split. Ivy presence has been taken.
Ooh, up close is Slemmy. He'll find Azza.
With the, oh, he still is behind a smoke. I see, he let him lurk through for some reason.
Crept to his death.
Crep check.
Wings and tings. Renegades still up with 4, but 2 of which are really lit. So we'll see if their blanket of smoke can cover the bomb site enough to find some wiggle room. Yaster is pushed up, and there's nobody to drop down from ladders, so he should be able to watch his side, but Nifty's found an opening regardless. Shot into the site, but the creep in has been checked. JKS with the next, and Android responds back. So, man advantage. Despite the double scout, Ustillo with another, and Peter responds. Naf is all that's left. He needs the clutch, but the shot disappears until the follow-up connects.
Oh, this is quite interesting. They're on the same lane right now. 100% Def is going to be spotting, and oh, is actually going to be on the side of the train. This means Naf might see him. The shot's missed. He has to go for the plant, and it can be on the opposite side of the train. He's going to definitely get it down. Oh, now we're in like the full 1v1 mode. It doesn't matter what just happened. Nice, nice crosshair placement. Def obviously 1 bullet away from death, so very important that he was able to hit that shot just as he did.
And he gets the op. Freebie of an upgrade, but worst case scenario, compLexity win a round after losing 15, and only 1 guy survives.
And only 1. Yeah, that is a big problem. Ultimately, they have much bigger problems. This should be the true test for them, because they are going to have to win rounds where they don't have everything going for them. Just someone falling out of the sky into your crosshair can always be startling, to say the least. So maybe not the worst shot in the world to have missed. And now, round, what round is this? 22. Nifty and Peter going to be picking up one for himself, going for the aggressive Ivy pick. No one actually behind him, or right behind him. The flash comes out in support of him. But the shot is, oh my god.
That hits a nade.
Yeah, it hit his nade.
Get duped. Peter has to fall further back. He's just left wondering what the hell's going on. Glorious.
Unreal.
You wonder if JKS even realizes what just happened.
That's one of the cool things, the really cool things about the physics.
Yeah.
Yeah. He probably just thought average CSGO shot missed when it looked like it was on him.
It's just Peter.
Just Peter.
Now, of course, there's still just that one man to the backside of the B site. The rest of compLexity aggressively pushed in. I can't help but feel like this leaves Ivy for the taking, though.
It does, in fact. It's really a toss-up whether or not you decide to try to play it, take control of it, or leave it open. Really, it's supposed to be reactive, but at the same time, you want to kind of dictate where you think they're going to go. So they do that by putting pressure on early, even if they don't want to get a kill there. Just make the T's afraid of it. In this situation, Renegades are looking to recapitalize. A lot of players in TCON going to take control of it together. No one here to stop them. Slemmy to take an aggressive pick instead of going out to go. Wow, push in early on, 2 kills. Peter getting one for himself as well. Great outside hold overall, just everybody hitting shots. Where was their Ivy man? Did he actually die to Peter?
I believe so.
Okay, the shot's being... Wow. Through the flash! What? I thought it was through a nade that he pulled out and Nifty hit him or something. Wow, that's nuts.
Up close as well. Not just leaving the hand, but rather at the end of the barrel.
Crazy.
Devil's in the details. Here we go.
You watch anime?
No. Do you?
No.
We're back with no op on the side of Renegades. They do have a CZ. Belongs to Nifty. They also have their entire team pushed to the top side of the ladder, where again we see the Molotovs force Yaster out. Now he has no information as to whether someone's in there, so he'll burn it up himself.
Def inside by himself once again. No rotate anywhere near to him on this what could be a full B execute. Seriously, he's got to have help, and we do have Android X23. He's kind of close. It looks like they're moving up a lot more quickly. I like how Def is playing this, is actually avoiding upper completely. Nifty staying in the smoke as well, kind of countering what he's doing, and they might push through now. Nice hold! Wow, 2 kills.
Nifty's able to respond though. Naf with another one. Peter is dead next, so Yaster needs a clutch. 1 versus 3, game point, bomb down. Def did his best to try and hold on. But the rotation, as it was filtered through Zed, did still get shut out. There's a nice headshot onto Nafly. Now he's going to have to push up. There's a man beneath him. He's fully blind. He has a check. He gets stabbed, and Naf will finish things off. That's Renegades with a win.
Yeah, big win. They made it look easy, and I think for good reason. They had all their ducks in a row. Their setups were able to counter complexities, even though complexities seemed pretty good. After recovering from the early 5-0 start, we're able to win the second pistol as well. And from there, it was just it felt very basic for them. They just kept it simple.
Yeah, kept it simple until they were able to cross that finish line. Again, 15 consecutive rounds after losing those opening 5. So, crazy stuff.
Wow.
Crazy stuff. We're going to go ahead and throw this one back to the analyst desk where the experts will unpack it.
So I just had to catch it, guys. It's coming right back to us. Appreciate it. Looking at that one, guys, I think right from the get-go, you see compLexity grab, 4 or 5 rounds. Then that's it. It's the Renegades show from that point. Dominance is the name of the game.
I mean, at that point forward, it's just, what, like 9, 10 rounds for Renegades straight before we even see another response coming out from compLexity. Renegades, within the first, 3 or 4 rounds that they win, they get this massive bank built up. Everybody's up at, 10K. So, I mean, good start for compLexity, I guess, with those first couple rounds, but just not a whole lot being shown after that, to be completely honest.
No, not at all. compLexity getting outplayed, outclassed. Every angle they tried to do, it felt like they're just getting ran over, and Renegades showing that, hey, we're we're a good team, guys.
Well, that's the thing, and I think it goes a long way with a lot of different teams, especially with this Renegades lineup. When these guys can come in and have a little bit of that confidence, you can see them drinking the Kool-Aid. They're on fire. When you have a player like JKS hitting shots, and Azur obviously as consistent as he is, there's definitely a force to be reckoned with.
And it wasn't just those two either. I mean, we saw quite a few good moments from Naf, a couple of actual clutches, then a couple of very close, almost clutches that almost happened there too.
So speaking of Naf, let's talk a little bit about his debut here. What are we thinking? Is this going to mesh? Is this going to be a good fit for Naf or Renegades?
I think so. I think Naf played really well, especially that T side on Train. He got that pistol win. Impressive by him, showing that he can still frag out. He's not out yet. And that Team Optic might be upset for...
He even threw that cheeky spray down at one point when he clutched, I think. So
yeah, a little spray.
Feels bad.
Him. Well, that feels bad, but I think he's a good fit for the team.
Feels bad, but no, this one I think feels good. We're going to take a look now at round number 9 with just a little bit of aggression here by Azur.
So this is one thing that Renegades kept doing on the CT side. It kind of got them back in the game. They take control of this T mid, and this allows the outside people, as you see Renegades is down 4 and 5, to play little wider angles where they'd be more caught out by, let's say, in ladder or whatnot. As you see Nifty, he could be kind of free in this backside, and it allowed JKS also to hold the backside, so it pretty much ran into a wall, a Team Renegade wall right there, because of that mid push, just because of that mid push, and I like that.
And able to obviously capitalize and punish and move forward. Looking at this Renegades on Train, is this a strong map for them going forward? Is this a map we can see them try to elect to grab going forward into vetoes and into different tournaments?
It seems like it's one of the maps that they like to play against high-tier teams as well. So I think they always felt pretty confident on the map. They have plenty of offers to work with, and I think this is definitely one of the go-to maps.
Well, let's take a look at round number 19 now, where we do have just a little bit of an inner execute here by Renegade.
See here as Daph will take out one that gets taken by Azur, and one thing that I liked about this inside take is that Team Renegades, they will be pushing inside together. It's not one person, it's not two. They really push 3 people. As you see, there's smokes in the lane. I love the smoke in the lane. It allows some room, some gap. As you see, they're planting the bomb. They planted, and they're pushed up. You see Azur getting a little crazy right now. And it's just a nice inside take in which, with him kind of pushed up, it makes the CTs take this weird route in the middle where they have to look to the left and right consistently, and eventually they get taken out by Team Renegades.
I do like that smoke setup as well, because it creates almost like a veil of mystery about whether that pop flash is going to come back out. We saw, as you said, he was getting a little bit crazy there, but that's actually a pretty well-weighed aggressive move, because the pop flash goes in. It's almost a perfect strike. There's really only like 1, 2, maybe 3 places where a CT is going to be sitting way in the back of that bomb site there. So as long as you hit the mark with that pop flash, you can almost guaranteed go through the smoke and still get a kill, despite how dangerous that would normally seem if you're just looking at that as an observer.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what pop flash it is that we're talking about the one in this last matchup, which you can go back and rewatch the VOD itself over at youtube.com/ESLCS, where you can catch this VOD, the last VOD, you can catch the next VODs that aren't even there yet. So if you just go there and wait long enough, you can press refresh and keep waiting, and eventually it will come up, I think. Right, guys?
Yeah. You don't need a DeLorean.
Wait. Yeah, something like that, yeah. Makes sense. But we got to go into another matchup here. We've got Optic and Splice, a matchup that I do feel a lot of people are looking forward to. Give me some quick initial thoughts on this matchup.
Well, I think Optic, I want to see Alu bring out the big green. I want to see him headshot people. Yes, with an AWP. I want to see headshots with an AWP. I want to see the teamwork of Optic. I want to see what they're going to bring against Splice. Also, it's Splice debut. I don't want to overload just an Optic, but I also want to see how Splice will, the comeback kids.
Why not?
I want to see the comeback kids.
I think the interesting point to note is on this, obviously we'll be back with that in about 20 minutes, but when we look at this is a showing for both teams, right? So here you've got Splice on one hand that need to kind of, hey, we're Splice and we need to prove ourselves, but you've got an Optic here that doesn't really, I'm going to say, have a lot of structure built into the team quite yet. So regardless, it should be an interesting bout, and what are they going to weigh on heavily? Is it going to be reliable on frags? Are we looking like for more setup from Optic? Which way do we see this one going?
I mean, Optic, 100% for me. The thing is, like even with Optic still being a relatively new squad and still trying to get like their odds and ends tied out as a team, as Freiburg tries to take control of the roster, I still feel like from the individual perspective of this, the 5 players combined are just going to be so much more, are just going to outclass the entire roster of Splice to such a huge degree that like strats and all that really isn't even going to matter all that much, just because there's so much skill on that Optic roster.
Well, speaking of that Optic lineup, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're jumping right into Optic versus Splice. We'll see you in 20 minutes.